You look fabulous, darling. It's okay. Yeah, ow. Show them a little, just a little curve. Okay. Yes.
Hello. Got some people joining us.
Yes, welcome everyone. Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to IG Live.
So this is Riziki Zafira, if you guys do not know her yet. And we are the Tantra Sisters together because we both practice Tantra. And we're going to talk about that tonight. I'm really excited. Yeah. We usually have we always have really good conversations. So whatever we talk about is just going to flourish into something great, I know. This is annoying though, because like I can't talk this.
I know, I'm like, okay.
I'm going to put it on a box.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're so funny. Yeah, I gotta give you some of that, honey. Never had that before. Oh my God, be careful.
I just spilled tea. It's okay.
Don't. Well, we about to spill some tea tonight, honey. So it's okay. That was a sign. That was a sign from the ancestors. Spill some tea, some good tea, y'all. Not the messy kind of tea.
Do it on my couch, though. You don't have to send that kind of signal, ancestors. Like, can't you just like whisper in my ear? You got to spill tea.
So yes, tonight is going to be a wonderful discussion.
It is. We're gonna talk about relationships, sex.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about the needs for healing in the Black and Brown community specifically.
Yes.
That's motivating us to do these events. That's coming up in April. I have some other events that I'm doing here locally as well. So look out for that. And if you guys resonate, which I think you will, you resonate with what we're saying and with the mission that we have, with our passion behind this, I want you to come to events. Come outside the house. Like there's nothing like in person. There's nothing like being connected, feeling each other's energy. Like online doesn't do it. It doesn't do it. And
it doesn't. It really doesn't.
Out of our houses, out of our boxes, and connect with each other, because that's where the power is. Like I'm doing a class on Sunday with mantras, and I'm really excited because I'm at circle people and doing mantras at the same time. Like all that power, all that vibration that we're gonna cultivate. Like.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Well, peace and love, everyone. Again, I am Riziki Zafira. I am a certified practitioner and rated through the Grand Trine Tantra system, and it is based from Nubian principles. The civilization of ancient Kemet, Indus Kush, which we know is India today. Angkor Wat, and also Native American. Pretty much like all of the quote unquote African descendants that have been placed around the world. And my journey though first started doing sidereal astrology. And so, I mean, that was great. I use it as a tool to really help people understand what, archetypes of certain energies they were strong in, what faculties that may have been suppressed. But then through that work, I really didn't have a solution to help them energetically. So I got into Reiki, I got into Tantra, then moved forward to mental health. And I use that as a, part of my practice, and I do consider it, holistic. And I do events here as well. I'm co-founder of Black Tantra Group, ATL. Our sister group is in NYC. And, I met Courtney presenting at a sacred sexuality retreat. And, we were just, our energy clicked. I was, oh my God, my teacher sister. Yeah. And it's important though, and I'm glad we're doing this, because this art of sacred sexuality, Tantra or Smai Taiwi, which it came from, but we'll get into that later. It's been watered down. It's been corrupted. It's been we're not represented in the work, and it's important that we are represented in the work, because we're the mothers and fathers of all creation. So it's important that we are represented and we are heard, and more importantly, our cultural experience has affected us in ways that is unique to us. So that has to be taken into consideration when we're doing this practice. So yes, absolutely.
Thank you. You actually ripped to what we can start talking about is the need for healing in the community. And so we were talking about, actually been having a lot of conversations about generational trauma with my sister, with my friends. This is our real life. We have this desire to get our families together in a healing circle to talk about things that we would never have talked about. to talk about things that we're scared would ruin the family, you know, those kind of things. But as long as we keep that inside, we hold on to all of this. There's no space for us to release, to heal, to be heard.
That's true.
If we don't do that, then we just continue to hold it, and we hold it, we get sick. That's no way to live. Like, we want to be empowered, we want to be free, and there's no freedom like getting it up here.
True. And it creates like disunity, you know, because, you know, things that, see, it's like this. One of the things that I teach in my workshops and in my classes is this theory of epigenetics. And especially when it deals with generational healing, because we have to understand what we caught and what we were taught. There's a difference. Things that were passed down to us through the generations, through our DNA, and then the things that we picked up in our environment, and understanding how that takes us away from our authentic selves. And that was one of the things that astrology taught me. Like, I'm reading people who are working out warehouses, and like, I don't know, you know, I'm just something that's like, how did you end up here? You know what I'm saying? Like, your strengths and everything is here. How did you end up here? And it's like, our lives become, you know, miserable and unhappy when we're going against that path that we were supposed to go on. But how do we know what that path is? Exactly. See, we think that nothing was left here for us to figure that out, but it was. So yeah.
And I think that's definitely where the change happens, is when you realize your power and then you want to tap into that. But there's this distraction of survival first, right? Like, a lot of times, even especially with the generation before us, it's mostly about survival. Like, you don't have time to do self-care, to meditate. Like, that's not even an option. So us now, thankfully, for the generation before us, now we have the accessibility to go out and get therapy. We go out, we have the ability to actually talk to each other, and online is definitely a good thing for that, because now we're hearing each other more, and we're like, oh, we're doing the same shit. Like, okay, like, we should trust each other because we're like the same people. So that's the connection. That's like the net that I see that it's happening. And one of the reasons that we are focusing on the Black community, because just like every love, every need for self-love, every need for healing is based on the inside. And if we are walking around with distrust for people that look just like us, for our own community, with shame of our culture, with shame of the way we look, then that's not going to develop into a holistic, healthy being, right? So it starts from the inside, and the inside is yourself, healing your wounds around your race, your ethnicity, your lack of grounding and where you come from. So a lot of us have that feeling, right?
Facts, absolutely.
Like, it just feels, so that's something that we all have this connection with, and when we convene together, we're able to really address those issues. And it's so healing just talking about things. There's a lot of times you think it's like you have to have like a solution exactly for this problem, but a lot of times you just talk about it, and through that process of talking about it and being heard, and you get to reflect and you get to see the truth without even needing to be, go through a whole like process.
And this work is really about like guiding you to finding your own solution, because one part is the healing, but then there's the empowerment and activation. Like a lot of the things we've been through, trauma, and guess what? Trauma shows up in different ways. It doesn't have to be just molestation or sexual abuse. Exactly. It could be somebody telling you to shut up all the time, your creativity being suppressed. Exactly. It could be being told you're not going to be shit when you grow up. There's all kinds of things that we've encountered that throws us off from aligning our divine will with our divine purpose, and like it, and one thing, I love about reading all these different types of people is I understand why the caste system existed. Not to say that it was right in the sense of, oh, you can never be anything else. But I do understand that there are thousands of people who are great educators. This group over here are great business people. This group over here are great spiritualists. This group of people, and it's like some of us, we have been cultivated in an environment that's not conducive to what our authentic self is. So how do we find that out? And understanding that we are all ecology. So just like you were saying, this distrust, like we have to work together in order to heal a lot of wounds, in order to build nations. And, you know, like you said, that displacement has torn us away from solutions that really work for us. You know, so it's like, yeah, so I mean, it's just important, the healing, the activation, like helping people see their true selves, what their divine purpose is, then being able to accomplish it. You know what I mean? Like that's the reward, you really living the life you're supposed to, and it's fulfilling. Like that's orgasmic right there. That's orgasmic.
Exactly, that's orgasmic. And that's and you know, you realize too, just based on situation, based on environment, a lot of times we don't go in the path of our greatness because first of all, we don't have the support to do it, or even the knowing, because if you have been told things that are low, if you've been like condescended, if you've been told that you ain't shit. Like one of the things that I was repeatedly told when I was growing up was that I was a slut, which I wasn't. I was like so innocent.
Oh my God.
I was evil. I was a bitch. And so all those things, instead of absorbing them and taking them as my truth, even at that time, I was like, you know what, like, I'm not any of those things. But in the hindsight of that, I also tried too hard to prove that I was not those things. So you see, there's always a balance of, you know, wanting to be, you know, be accepted and be loved by your community, by the people that take care of you. And I think if we learn to accept ourselves and each other in that space where we're all accepting ourselves as whatever we are, however we are, then that space is a healing space already. It's a real space, it's an authentic space. And so that's what I'm so excited that we are putting our energy to, putting our intention on this year, because that's what's needed. Like we have to put action into going into this direction of coming together and doing it as a community.
Exactly. Like, what are we going to build from it? And then like this little spill, because this is going to lead us to the sex part, which is great. So like, you know, there were things that my mom said to me that, you know, but when it comes to, you know, relationships, see, my mom was a single mom, right? And she didn't heal from her relationship. Am I frozen? Like on my screen, I'm frozen.
I was gonna say something. I'm like,
oh my gosh. Okay. Like, I don't know. I would have to come out and come back in, and girl, you know how much crazy it was trying to get me back on here. Let me just say this and then we'll see what happens. So y'all, everybody stick with me. All right. So anyway,
it's a nice frozen
face. Yeah, it's a frozen face. Okay, I'm still cute though. Okay, so anyway, but no, like he's so funny. It was a single parent household, right? So I'm being cultivated in an environment that teaches me how to survive without a man. I don't need one, right? So then as an adult, I'm in these relationships where I could be cold-hearted, you know, like I don't care if you stay or go. I know how to survive without you. I don't need you, blah, 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 blah. Right. And so then the more I healed from daddy issues, from things that, my mom projected on me, not intentionally, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I was like, I freaking love men. They are awesome. And that's why my focus has been on men, like healing. I mean, like, oh my gosh. Yes, like I tell you, and see, as women, we all know this, that we've dated a lot of men based off their potential, right? And that didn't always turn out right. Yeah, that didn't always turn out good. But so instead of now me being in that space of getting my heart broke all the time, I can just help navigate the healing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then just it's just beautiful. I say that we are contributing to creating wonderful husbands and fathers for our sisters out there.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
And it's a need, because as a single woman that's practicing Tantra sacred sexuality, have you not experienced that it's hard to find somebody that really resonates and is compatible with your spiritual growth, spiritually and sexually, like all of it? It is a struggle. And so we're going to do something about it. We don't just struggle and talk about it. Like, we're going to do something about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so like
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Yeah, this is real talk. No. Man, I gotta get off this frozen thing,
so
but this is real.
I can end it and save it, and then we'll restart it. Los Angeles, we have a retreat coming up April 26th to the 29th. Join me and my sister Riziki Zafira from ATL. She's a shamanic Tantra practitioner. We're going to join forces in the hills of LA for the Tantra Revolution Retreat. This is geared towards the Black, Brown community and working with our healing, our needs for community, and empowerment.